Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And today it is time to take a look at the new RIMURU, the true demon lord, King RIMURU Tempest, whatever you want to call him, the alt stealer, the alt yoinker, alt sucker RIMURU. I've seen many names in the Discord, so whatever you prefer to call him, it's what he does. So I have him at level 100, and I have 2 extra dupes because God is very, very funny. RN Jesus loves to smile upon me. So I have 2 extra dupes of RIMURU, and I had to shard up Milim up to 100 3 times, so yeah. Anyways, he is magic. He uses a sword. His skills. He is an AoE unit. 290% normal damage. So good. That's the standard, higher tier ult multiplier for AoE units. He also increases his skill points by 10. Now, normally his ult effect would be 5, but because he's level 100, he has his extra secret skill enhancement trait where it goes up to 10. So every time you ult with him, you immediately get 10 points, 5 if he's not level 100. His first skill, guaranteed crits for the entire team. So another faux hero replacement. And then also gives dark allies crit damage by 40%. So that is one of the unfortunate things about this RIMURU, is that guaranteed crits are cool, but this 40% crit damage is really nice. Like, you know what Hinata does. Water Hinata does with her attack and her 40% crit damage buff. So, if he could give this to everybody, that would immediately bump him up. Like another tier. Another step. But it's limited to dark, so the full power of this RIMURU is limited to the dark team, as far as a support unit is concerned. But his real skill, the real meat and potatoes of why this RIMURU is in the 1-year anniversary, is this other skill. So he is able to absorb an enemy ult once, and make it his own. So if you have 0 ult gauge, you use this skill. It lasts for 2 turns, so you don't have to use it immediately. You can let it sit for a little bit. But if an enemy uses an ult on you, you will immediately negate the ult, and then you will immediately have 100% ult meter. So if you're at 0, you will have an ult. If you're at 110, like you have an ult and then a little bit extra on the bottom bar, then you will magically have 2 ults then. Or, some whatever math there is. If you're halfway, then you get another 100%, and you're 1.5. Like, you get what I'm talking about. His secondary effect is not that great. Increases all souls skill point increase until the end of battle by up to 10%. I guess that's cool. It's permanent, but it's not really the reason why you're using this skill. You're using it for this. Now, I've seen a few people ask the question, will it negate multiple ults on the same turn? And the answer is no. He will negate 1 ult, singular. That is it. So if you're facing 3 people, and they all have ults, and you use this skill, you will take the first ult. You will yoink it, and you will take no damage. The next 2 ults are going to hit you. So just be aware of that. It's not that nice, alright? It's still a very good skill, but they're not going to make it, like, that broken. The hero is broken enough with Rewind, alright? His Valor trait, when the enemy souls are activated after turn 4, the enemy is afflicted with a protection seal. Valor is not something I'm really going through right now. His actual battle trait is when you unleash a 6 combo of greens, he increases his own crit damage by 6%. And this works in support, so if you put him underneath someone, say, like the new Milim, who also gives herself crit damage, or no, doesn't give herself crit damage, it's she gives herself skill points. But if you put him underneath the Milim, she will then get an extra 6% crit damage if you use a whole hand of greens. So, it's a good trait. Good trait. And then, like I said, his new whale enhancement is 10 points when you ult. His EX ability is additional crit damage. That's only for him, though. That's not going to work if he's in the support slot. And it's activated by Milim, and then he is a self-buffer unit. So let's go ahead and take him on a little tour of the game. Like I said, he's really, this skill right here is really relegated to the dark team to make full advantage of it. But, other people can benefit from guaranteed crits. And then this skill can probably save you in a number of places. So let's try it out. Alright, so just like we did with the Milim showcase, we're going to take Rimuru into Conquest Hinata, and then we're going to try and nuke with him instead of Milim to see how much damage he can do when he's, you know, nice and buffed up. So let's just go ahead and move out. It's the same exact team. We've got Veldora, Dark Valentine, Milim, the new Isis, and then we got Diablo 2.0 in the back. This is the team I've been running for pretty much anything related to the Dark content this month. Unless it's the parallel processing, because then it's just like a full octagram supports, because they just give extra percentage. So let's take a look and see how much damage Rimuru can do against Hinata. Well, okay, we can take Isis out then. So let's do this, let's do that, and then let's send these blues. And how much damage will Rimuru do here? So 33, and then 61 with the Pierce, 57 normal with that 110% buff. Okay, it's not terrible damage. Let's try and make sure that we can get an ult for him. So, let's see. Let's do that. We'll just work up. We're still hurting her a lot. 5200 is a pretty good base stat line for damage before her guard and everything went up. We need an orange orb changer. Not a special converter, but another one. I wish there was a dark unit that did that. Game. Second banner next week, maybe? You know, maybe? Kind of, sort of. These are nerfed for 5 more turns, so we're not really going to get anything from keeping them in. Let's take Rimuru out. Let's put Isis in. That way, if we get some lucky oranges, we can just swap him in and get his ult. So this Rimuru, like, I've been using him the entire day. I've been using the entire Dark team the entire day, the entire night. And so far, I actually like this team a lot more than I thought I would. It works pretty well, especially with Valentine and Veldora. Because, you know, 25 points to stack 20%, and then it's 45, and then it's 65. And that can get out of hand for teams that don't have a crap ton of skill points, like the Water team or the Space team. But Veldora can just reset you back down to 25 every single time, which makes it very, very easy to do. Alright, so we have 2 oranges for Milim, so let's go ahead and take you out. We'll send this. This should get his ult. There we go. Alright, so we can nuke with him once her defense goes down on like turn 6 or 7 or something. But yeah, I like this team quite a bit after using it. I wasn't too sure of myself when I looked at it on paper, but moving into the game, it runs pretty well. It just needs probably another orb changer, and I think the support is missing something. Like, we have ult support, we have magic support from Veldora, we have the crits. I think we could see the next unit be dark attack. Like Leon is light attack, like Xion is water attack. I could see us getting a dark attack support, which would really help this team out. Like, Milim can already do nutty damage by herself right now, but if you add that in, you're going to take her from, like, up here to, like, all the way up here. But that's not the point of the showcase. It is Rimuru's time to shine. So let's do this. We're going to use just one ult. We're just going to use his buff, his crits, and his crit damage here. We're not going to buff it with anything else. And we'll see how much damage he does. Alright, there's heal, but her guard is leaving, her defense is leaving, so now we are going to ult with him, and let's do Isis, because she has the most orbs, and she's also going to die soon. Alright, so let's use his card right here. So crit rate for all allies 100%, and dark crit damage, right? Or dark allies crit damage. Only dark allies. How much are you going to do? This is an AoE, so it won't hurt as much as like Milim did. It should still do decent damage. 18,000? Well, maybe not. Alright. The normal attacks, though, did, 6,000 damage. That's nice. We almost did as much in the normals than we did with the ult. And there's a counter that did good damage. Okay. And now we can go ahead and probably just finish this up, huh? So let's go ahead and do Veldora. Let's get some magic attack stack here. And this will probably kill Hinata. I say probably. Not guaranteed, though. It's guaranteed. Okay. So there we go. 18,000 with just the crit damage. AoE, obviously, he's not meant to be DPS. He's meant to be support, giving people crit damage, yoinking the ult. So let's go into a stage that we could die from an ult, and then let's just negate it and see that in action. Alright, so here we are in EX3 Wind Tempered Edge, a stage that I have not been able to 3-star clear yet because my wind team is pretty bad, and the stage is actually quite difficult, especially right here on turn 5, because as you can see, Diablo is only at half health, right? We have an ult with our Diablo. I don't think it's going to kill him. And then we also have an ult from Geld. Diablo pretty much one-shots anybody on this team. And then Geld, because just to add insult to injury, decides to follow up with a very buffed AoE, which means that even if that one person who got nuked didn't die, he's going to die from Geld. So here, we're going to try and take advantage of Rimuru, and going to try and cancel out Diablo's ult, being that single target. I think we can take the AoE. We'll take a good amount of damage, yes, but I think it'll be okay. So let's get, let's keep you in. So then now let's use the ult steal. And Diablo's going to ult first, it always does. So we know that we're going to cancel out his ult. And we'll see how effective that's actually going to be. Because I think he also has follow-up, which is not the best thing in the world. So let us, I think it's kind of important that we keep you alive, so I think we're just going to do that. And yeah, I think we're just going to do this. Alright, so we'll send these, and then we'll cancel out his ult, right? In theory. Alright, so the absorb the secret skill right there, right? Rimuru's got his, and now, yeah, he has follow-up. 2 attacks, but now we're going to take Geld. So this is, showing that we're going to take one ult, but we're also going to get hit by a second ult in the same turn. And that one didn't hurt as much, but he also has follow-up. Okay, so now Rimuru has an ult. He took it from Diablo, which is cool and all. It's just that, especially on the win team, like, points are not something that you really come by. Like, Gabiru raises it by 15, yes, he can definitely change hands, but, like, this hand right here, he's not doing anything about it. He can't change these oranges. He only changes greens, which is why Gabiru is a bit underpowered compared to some of the other 2.0 protectors like Shizu and Guy. And it's why he's kind of lower on the tier list for me. But we did manage to live. Everybody is alive, we just don't have a healer on this team. So, I mean, realistically, I would probably bring a healer instead of Rimuru, just to keep everyone alive. But we can see if we can kill here. Don't have a lot of stuff going on for us, though, which is unfortunate. I don't think we're going to beat it anyways, but at least we were able to show off the steal. So let's get some magic power. It went to Rimuru because he has the highest stat. Let's do this, and now I still don't know if you're going to have a higher stat than Rimuru. Okay, yeah, you will. Alright, so let's do this. So now both Rimuru and Diablo have boosted stats. We don't have enough points to use anything else, though, so let's just do this. Alright. So Rimuru, on his ult, he doesn't have anything but that 25% magic buff, so he's not really going to hit that hard here. And he does 10,000 damage, yeah, so nothing really special there. Diablo has his own attack buff and the magic buff. He doesn't have crits. He doesn't have the ult boost from Windmillum. And he does 30k, and you can see Diablo is still quite very much alive. So, I mean, yes, it can work. I tried to take him into, like, Conquest against the Golem, but he buffs himself on turn 7, and then hits everyone in the front and kills them, and then he ults. So, like, even if Rimuru puts his stance up, he just gets one-shotted by the big ol' swipe, and then you don't have a stance anymore. And then your 2 backline units come in, and then it ults you, and then you're all dead. So it didn't really work for me that well on that stage. But here, I know that Diablo hurts a lot, so this would be an excellent time to use it. It's just that, the stage is just difficult by itself, and I don't know if Rimuru is really going to be the X factor in me clearing this stage. Actually, I do know, because obviously we haven't beat it. Like, people are going to die here. Yeah, well, there's Trainee dead. Okay. Like, I've cleared the stage. I just haven't been able to do it with, like, nobody dying and within a set amount of turns. Like, the missions I have not done. So, there was the showcase of him stealing the ult in a scenario where we knew it would hurt, but then also taking a second ult because he only cancels one per turn. So, I don't need to waste any more time on the stage because I hate this stage. So, let's move on to probably Tempered Edge. And we'll showcase him at, like, full dark power. Alright, so Tempered Edge EX1, because we haven't cleared EX2 yet, we're still waiting on that. I'll probably record that video next, actually. But we're going to use the full power of the full-on dark team. We've got Valentine for the ult boost, so we're going to try and get 60% ult boost. We're going to try and get Millum. We're going to get Rimuru's buff. And then we're going to try and get a full stack of 70% Veldora, who also now has a charm on him, which gives an extra 2% dark attack when you use the protection skill. So in theory, this should be 72% dark attack. So, well, 2% dark attack and 70% magic damage, I guess, is how it really adds out. So let's go ahead and jump in, and we'll try and get a fully boosted ult with Rimuru and see how much damage he can do. Okay, so turn 1, we're going to use Isis to get that full hand of greens. We'll bring Rimuru in for Isis, and then we'll send him last to see how much damage he can do on a 200% hit. Okay, so after using this team quite a bit, I like it. I think it runs pretty well. I think it needs another orb changer for oranges, but like right here, this worked out because now we have a perfect Millum orb change hand, and we have quite a few Rimuru orbs. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll get a stack in with Valentine, and then we can bring Isis back in here for Valentine. Use the green boost, so that's 4 stacks already of the the magic attack. And now we're going to reset all those skills that we just used back down. And this team can run pretty well. And now our greens are boosted, which means that we're going to have probably max gauge next turn. Oh, well, almost. But I've got another Veldora to reset the skill costs of probably the orb changes that we're going to use, the next turn. So this team runs pretty well. I think it needs one more support unit. Maybe like a dark attack booster and orange orb changer would be pretty basic, but I would think would be very powerful for this team, because my 2.0 Diablo is here because he's a magic and he's dark, and that's really the only reason. And I'm not going to bring Beretta because she's changing blues to oranges, which doesn't help this team at all. So we have a Rimuru ult. Cool. We still need to keep on stacking with Veldora, but let's first check out and see if we have an extra dark attack here from the trait, or the charm. Dark attack by 17% forever. That should be from the that's from the traits. Okay. Well, maybe it's because it's a new turn. It's a new, it's a new turn. We would have had it last turn, so we'd have to check it again now. So let's get Rimuru out of here for Valentine. Ooh, we didn't reset Valentine's skill. Well, we can do that now, actually. Alright, so perfect. Okay, so let's use the orb change for Millum, and then we can use the orb change for Isis. Alright, and then we can use Veldora. So he's going to reset it again. We're up to 40% magic damage. Then we'll reset these costs, and then we'll go ahead and use Valentine's ult boost again. And now, let's check it out. We have, increased dark attack by 2%, turns remaining 1 for the charm. Okay, so that does go into effect on that turn. Awesome. Okay, so now let's use another stack. What does this do? That's secret skill gauge? I guess it's another skill. Let's use that and that and that. We'll just use skills to keep on buffing up our magic damage. So now what are we up to? 55%. Okay, cat's freaking out. Alright, let's do that. We'll have a Millum ult as well. A double Millum ult, actually. So we're looking pretty good. Alright. We need, what, 3 more skills to get maximum output? Alright, so... Let's see. We can use Dark Diablo's skills right here. Let's swap out Milim, right? No, let's use her orb change. Alright, so there's that. And then we'll swap her out of here. So that's 1, and then we'll use Diablo's 2 skills, and that should be now 70% right there. And we'll do this, I guess. Alright, 131 points. We will reset the skill cost for Valentine's alt boost next turn, and then that will be the full 60%, and we should still have enough points. We might be a little short. We might be a little short, yeah. Alright, so let's get Rimuru in here so we can activate the charm damage and put the magic boost on him, and then we can send him away for Milim, and we'll hold on to that, and then next turn we will be ready to go about nuking this poor man into the ground. So there's that. We'll use 1 more stack of this. And then we'll just use some blues. And we only need, what, 4 points to get what we really need out of this. So, we are ready to nuke right here. He has defense, he has, I think, crit resistance, which is going to nerf our damage down a little bit, so maybe we should wait. Right? Is this crit resistance? It is 80%, so actually this would not be a good turn to nuke. So we're just going to hold out. And we're just going to delay until we can really hit this man for full power. When does he lose that? Oh, next turn. Okay, perfect. We can wait 1 more turn. I'm okay with that. Who knows? Maybe Rimuru will just straight up kill him with his overwhelming power. Okay, so alt boosted by 60% right there. Good, good, good. Let's go ahead and use Milim's alt boost and then her own attack boost, which, you know, she's going to nuke afterwards if Rimuru doesn't kill, but we'll see. And then we'll get Isis out of here for Rimuru. So now we will have everything on him that we can possibly have on this team. So Rimuru has the 60% and 70% right there. And then as far as individual buffs, he's got the Charm 2% Dark Attack. He's got the Magic Attack from Veldora. He's got his increased crit damage from his trait. He's got guaranteed crits and 40% crit damage. So he is ready to go. Gazel has 97.4 thousand health left. I know you can't see it because I'm blocking it, but that's where he's at. And I'm fairly confident that Rimuru is going to wipe right here. I think he's going to do like 140k or something. So let's check it out. 127. Okay, so not quite as high as I was thinking, but still, he was about 30k over of what we really actually needed. So that was a pretty good showing right there. That is full power. The only way that could get any better is if I had upgraded the Charm, which I'm not quite confident on how to do yet, and then maybe like an attack booster like Space Rimuru or something, because he doesn't have any base attack buff right there. But still, I think that's pretty good for an AoE unit, right? We know how powerful the hero is. Rimuru is essentially, you know, another kind of hero, because giving crits and crit damage only for dark allies, though, kind of limits his effectiveness on other teams, but at least they can give crits. So yeah, I think we can call the showcase there. He's not as general use as the Milim is, so I'm not really going to put him on teams he's not really going to make sense on. 70 points is a big ask for teams that don't really run point heavy. Like, you could probably use him on the Earth team, but like negating the ult could be useful, but, you know, Earth Valentine already has the ult deny, which if you use that strategically, you can just stop the ult coming anyways. The Cabby Wind team definitely can use it, but like Wind 1.0, Like, there are better teams that run on greens, honestly. And I did use Milim on the caddy team for her showcase, and it works well, but, you know, she's changing to greens. Rimuru is not doing any such thing, so I think he's a pretty solid unit. I was really hoping that he would be a single target, because, like, even now, 1 year into the game, we still don't have a single target DPS god Rimuru, which I find very interesting. Very interesting, considering he's the main character. And all we ever get is AoEs. Water Rimuru, AoE. This Rimuru, AoE. Dark 1.0 Rimuru, AoE. We have Light Rimuru, who's single target, but he's a support, right? He's pierce resistance and orb changing. He is not a DPS. So, maybe they could have swapped the ults for Milim and Rimuru. Milim could have been an AoE, and then Rimuru could have been the single target with, like, the 480% alt boost at level 100. But overall, I think he's a solid unit. I don't think he's necessary in most team setups, especially for newer players. Like, it's cool that you pull him, but most newer players are not going to have teams that can just willy-nilly run off 70 points for funsies and then still work pretty well. So, let me know what your thoughts on this Rimuru are. Are you as underwhelmed with him as I am, or do you think I'm being too harsh on him? Let me know in the comments, but that's it for me, guys. Take it easy, and I will see you later.